All right, so first session, you vented.
The world in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on the run.
You done talked about all your gripes with the world, right?
The profits abandoned, the law take advantage, the market is crashing, the industry wants niggas and bitches to sleep in the box while they making a mockery following us.
Got it all out.
Venting in the safe house, venting in the safe.
Feeling a little bit better. And it seems like you got a little sense of self. And you kind of know what your purpose is.
I'm glad you said that, because I am. Like, I'm so focused on what's need to be said and what's need to be heard, excluding what the industry standards want you to do.
The reason why hip-hop had such a strong voice was because, it was a defiant message for a while.
You're supposed to help make the world a better place, right?
It was basically the voice of the voiceless.
So in my raps, I have to talk about it. And it just seems foreign because there's no one else talking about it.
Can't understand Kendrick Lamar without understanding Tupac.
Let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it.
The question is, how do you do that?
I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Oh yeah.
We got to make a change. It's time for us as a people to start making some changes. Let's change the way we eat. Let's change the way we live.
We should never be comfortable where we are. We should always be aspiring to know more.
And let's change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we gotta do to survive.
And still I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, if life worth living, should I blast myself? I'm tired of being broke, even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. That's one of my favorite joints. What he said is like, it's frustrating to know what he said. It's hard to comprehend. It's hard to know what respect is. He's saying everything that we're saying today. We so focused on what the outside is doing to us and stumbling upon us. We forget that if we're stronger on the inner core, ain't nothing nobody else can do.
Because that's how we improve the world around us, by working within us.
You can't break down something that's so solid if the core is solid, the foundation is there. It's just something that gotta be reversed. Definitely a curse that has to be reversed.
What are the steps? I mean, I could talk about it, but why not talk to somebody who has their degree in psychology? My boy Black Father.
My apologies, I thought my time was up.
No, we can continue if you like.
Peace and love, family. Listen, I just served as the executive director for a mental health organization for the past 5 years. One of the main things I try to get my people to understand is, now that we know who we are, we got an understanding of self. The question is, are you the best version of yourself?
I've sat down, with folks and even sat down, looked at myself, okay, what are you gonna be about? What are you saying? You know what I'm saying? The pedestal you're on, the place you're in, are you gonna take that opportunity you have to talk to people? Are you gonna take it for granted and take the easy way out?
Once you become sort of, the voice of the corporate, you become a different creature.
Frightening, so fucking frightening, enough to drive a man insane, a woman insane, the reason Lorraine don't sing.
You know what I'm saying? And go to a hit producer or
some cliche
places, things like that, and take the easy one. No.
My struggle has always been to sort of prevent that from happening, to sort of maintain the soul.
I said, okay, this is a mission I have to accomplish, and I'm gonna do it. If it take this album, the next album, or...
Cause you heard Mr. Morale.
And specifically, if you could articulate what that mission is, because you're talking about music, you're talking about saying something. So what is it that you feel is missing in the music, and what do you feel that's not being said?
Not being said, making a connection with people.
Hopefully I show people mistakes I made, and then they don't have to make that same mistake. And by me being real and telling you exactly what I did and not glorifying it or making it look better, then they'll see it for exactly what it was. It's an experience.
Showing that music is life.
But life is continued work. It's constant learning.
stupid as fuck.
Shit, everybody's stupid.
Yeah, well, you need to talk to somebody. Reach out to Eckhart.
One of my favorite lines in the album is where Wood say, you really need to go to therapy. And I say, real niggas don't go to therapy. Because that's how niggas feel, you know what I'm saying? We grow up where our parents don't know about that, our grandparents don't know about that. You live and you experience the shit that you go through and you deal with it right then and there, or you don't never deal with it.
Let's start with the people that helped make you you. What was your relationship like with your parents?
Well, with my pops.
It's crazy because I always go back to the story that I was the only one probably the only one in America probably with an actual active father in his life. I don't know. Well, at least in Compton. And it was like Boys in the Hood. You remember Boys in the Hood? Trey and his pops. Yeah. Trey and his pops. That was my pops. But my pops wasn't as righteous. My pops was still, you know what I mean, bumping his head too. But at the same time, he always had so much of a love for me. He gave me the wisdom in the game to say, you know what, I did that, don't do that. And sometimes he could stop it, sometimes he couldn't.
That man knew a lot, but not enough to keep me past them streets.
Because I still had my friends surrounding me in the community, and each block.
Had I had a father, had I had some of these opportunities, I'd have been able to help my mother more. She wouldn't have went the road she went. I could have been a better son. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have went that road. It was the absence of my father. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with him being daddy not being there. My mother's dealing with him being my man not being there. You know, so many problems in our community that affect everything.
What they didn't have, what I had was somebody to say, all right, you bumped your head, now you see what happened? You in back of a police car.
My life is a plot, twisted from directions that I can't see. Daddy issues.
So they'll keep doing it over and over again. So, Good Kid in the Mad City comes from, you know what I mean, we all are born with a sense of righteousness and hope, but it's just the things that we're around.
Thug life.
THUGLIFE. The hate you gave little infant, TCK, everybody. Meaning, what you feed us as seeds grows and blows up in your face.
I mean, I always say ignorance is bliss. A kid don't come in the world being bad or being crazy or want to kill people.
For set respect, split your onion and chop your deck. Your head tumbling like gymnastics. Cause ignorance is bliss.
I pray that God will bless you in everything that you do. I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture. And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out.
It's what's already there and what's instilled in them from the adults they're around or whoever around them. And they didn't have that one particular person, which was their father, to tell them that. But I did, so.
You know, I'm still stuck how my pops think fucking need therapy for.
You know, we should constantly be working, maybe not physically working, but we could be spiritually, emotionally working toward bettering ourselves and bettering the lives of others around us.
To challenge myself to go to therapy. Shit, that's like a whole new step in a whole new generation. It's a growth.
In the OK Player interview in 2015, Kendrick Lamar stated, I had a talk with Lauryn Hill. She said, try to completely throw away your ego.
Look around, the reality's carved in lies. Wipe my ego, dodge my pride.
You know, I don't believe in getting comfortable just because everyone says you've arrived.
How many times can you throw away an ego, you know?
Egotistic, zero giving fucks, and a be specific, need assistance with the way I was brought up.
It's tough.
You know, that's not what it's all about.
Celebrity do not mean integrity, you fool.
Once you compromise yourself in one way, you compromise yourself in another way. And you've just opened the door to, you know, compromise, mediocrity, settling.
Some put it on the devil when they fall short. I put it on my ego, Lord of all lords. Sometimes I fall for.
It's something we all battle with. I battle with it all the time.
Rich nigga, broke phone, trying to keep the balance, I'm staying strong.
And the idea of being in all these places, the big spots, all the events, the lights, it's all for ego. It's all for your own confirmation to be like, okay, I'm somebody. But truthfully,
No matter where you go, you are what you are, player.
I mean, I grew up off Pac, you know, being from Compton. But Jay-Z, I wanted to have the conversational, you know, type of wordplay and aspect of things, you know, whether I'm engaging in a story or I'm just having fun.
And you can try to change, but that's just the top layer, man.
I've always been somebody. You don't need the likes.
You know, you need someone who just, you know, can penetrate the facade and say, I knew you win, and let's go back there right now.
I found her in the kitchen, asking God, where did I lose myself? And can it be forgiven? Broke me down, she looked me in my eyes. Is there an addiction? I said no, but this time I lied. I knew that I can't fix it, pure soul, even in her pain. Know she cared for me, gave me your number. Said she recommended some therapy.
And your mother?
Well,
you know, my mother's always very honest with me.
I asked my mama why she didn't believe me when I told her no. I never knew she was violated.
There's often a lot of shame and stigma associated with trauma. But, you know, the paradox is there's a lot of healing and storytelling and sharing and opening up.
Sarah Church is an author and health advocate who's experienced what's called complex PTSD. That condition happens due to childhood trauma that's never resolved, and it impacts the brain long term.
I think about Robert Kelly. If he were molested, I wonder if life for Felly. I wonder if Oprah from Closure, the way that she posted the hurt that a woman carries. My mother abused young, like all other mothers back where we from.
Symptoms often include flashbacks, nightmares, and triggers to cues that remind you of the traumatic experience from the past.
In Chicago, I'm sympathetic. Told me that she feared it happened to me for my protection. Though it never happened, she wouldn't agree.
Many will unintentionally pass along their trauma to others.
Now I'm affected. 20 years later, trauma has resurfaced, amplified. As I write this song, I shiver cause I'm nervous. I was 5, questioning myself, long for many years. Nothing's wrong, just results on how them questions made me feel.
So now that you've taken a look at your own childhood, what's some things that you found?
Man, thought I had it all figured out. Really? I've just been carrying on generational traumas.
A conversation not being addressed in Black families.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome is an explanatory theory that really looks at
the devastation haunting generations and humanity.
One of the things that's difficult for people is their first response is, oh my God, that happened so long ago. We're talking about people being captured, shipped.
When the shores of Africa were outlawed as a slave market, America protected its slave stock by creating its own internal market of breeding slaves. What lay ahead for the enslaved people of America holds shame history can barely look at. Stolen autonomy, bodies, children.
Sold, beaten, raped.
Our mothers, then they raped our sisters, then they made us watch.
Experimented on, and then
made us rape each other. Psychotic torture between our lives.
You have to ask the question, did the trauma continue? Yes, so 300 years of trauma, no help, freed. No help, more trauma.
We ain't recovered, still living as victims in the public eyes who pledge allegiance. Every other brother has been compromised. I know
if it's a sustained trauma, then the impact of that is also sustained.
So listen close before you start to pass judgment on how we move, learn how.
You don't even have to be there to actually get a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. You could just hear about something horrific happening to someone you love. So you have people who have experienced it firsthand, people who have witnessed it in their environment, right? People who are continuing to be oppressed. That exacerbates any possibility of healing. So it's not post-traumatic stress disorder, because then it becomes part of what we call your socialization process. So you begin to normalize a way of living and being. Everything from...
I caught a couple bodies myself, slid my community. My last Christmas toy drive in Compton handed out eulogies. Not because the rags in the park had red gradient, but because the high blood pressure flooded the catering.
What we eat to what we believe it means to be a friend. You know, all of these things are colored by history. And if you don't understand it, you're going to fold in things that you've just assumed are normal. But
this is post-traumatic
stress on health. And while we look at general stress, you know, we know finances, you have illnesses, all these different things. How about being Black?
I'm tired of being broke, even worse than Black.
How does factoring in being Black in America impact your stress level and therefore your body's ability to operate its own immune system, because we know it compromises the immune system. Once you understand it, then you can deal with it.
Black trauma, heaven is kicking back. It's another genre. Tyler Perry, the face of 1,000 rappers using violence to cover what really happened.
Because you see, it's habitual. You're socialized. It becomes part of your being.
I know somebody's listening. Past life regressions to know my conditions is based off experience.
You know, all of these things are colored by history. And if you don't understand it, you're going to fold in things that you've just assumed are normal.
How do you think that affected your personal relationships?
Damn. I guess chaos only begets chaos.
This is what the world sounds like.
I ain't never want to hear nothing about no kind of relationships between a black man and a black woman. I knew they didn't work. Because as far as I knew, my daddy was the coolest dude out there. And my mama was a Panther. So if they didn't work, it don't work.
The result is a world turned upside down as children copy what they see and repeat what they learn.
You know what? Fuck you, bitch.
Fuck you, nigga.
Stupid ass. Fuck you, bitch.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, fuck you,
Fuck you, fuck you.
Weird
Fuck
ass.
you.
Stupid ass.
Ooh.
That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know why. Fuck with you.
I'll be damned if I'm stuck with you.
Change my number, I'm ducking you, bitch.
Bitch, whatever is comfortable.
That's the type of shit couples do. Should've thought about cuffing you.
Nigga, you dirty and you broke.
How you goofy and gunnable?
First of all, let's bring it back a couple notches. Okay? So there's really a lot to unpack here, because my first question to you is, what do you gain from telling girls that they're not special? How does that make you feel?
Ah, now you mad at me.
I mean, I know everything is a joke, but I'm asking you a real question. So how does that make you feel? Because if I say you're a bitch ass nigga, that does something for me.
Bitch, get the fuck out my face, bro.
What you mad?
Shut up, bitch. You got me fucked up today.
You mad? Little feelings is shot.
Right? If I insult you, or if I tell you you're not special, you're forgettable, what does that do for me? No, but that doesn't, but that's what I'm saying. No, but I'm saying, what if I call you, if I just say that.
Them insecurities you got won't mind fuck me. Womanizer got no affection from your mama, I see.
She got to be so mean about me.
Y'all motherfuckers don't understand how real this is. I was just a kid, 5. Had to look my mama in the eye. Half sleep, half high.
You ever see a mama strung out while you studied division?
What was that like to have a mother who was addicted to crack?
I love my mom. She the bomb to me, so
I know
love
she
all
is
her
now,
mistakes.
but what about then?
It was hard. It was hard because, you know, she was my hero. And we ain't talking about my mama, we talking about your stuck-up ass.
Don't speak on my mama, the fuck is your problem?
That bitch don't like me anyway.
Bitch, she gave you the Honda.
And use that shit to throw it in my face. I find it funny, you just can't apologize.
We are not above taking accountability, and I'm
Egotistic, narcissistic, love your own lives. See you the reason why strong women fucked up. Why they say it's a man's world.
What disappoints me the most is black men. I'm not even going to talk about Latino men. I'm going to let their people deal with them. But I'm going to talk about black men and how y'all could have made such a big difference.
See you the reason for Trump.
You just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. So
black men who went and voted for Trump. What the is wrong with y'all? What the is wrong with y'all?
What an insult. Did you catch that? The reason black men don't want to vote for Kamala Harris is because she's a woman.
No, babe.
I think we get so caught up in the political polarization of black men and black women and like online echo chambers that we forget that we really need each other.
See, I'm not gonna let y'all put something on black folks that don't belong on us. 12% of black people voted for Trump. That's the same 12% that voted for him in 2020.
Ah, you got us.
But look at the Asian vote, look at the Latino vote, and this other vote. Y'all swung y'all tails right on over to the Republican side. So when I say black folks didn't do this, y'all did this.
Of course, Kamala Harris saying that she would have done nothing differently than Joe Biden has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had
the fate of black women. Just walk with me for a little bit. I keep hearing about the 4B movement, which is basically a feminist movement that started in South Korea in 2019. The purpose is to combat the patriarchy in South Korea, and they have 4 major no's. So it's no dating men, no sex with men, no carrying children for men, and no marrying men. What benefits would this type of movement have for Black women and the Black community as a whole?
We don't have anything to do with that.
As Black people, we forget that Black men and Black women, like, we share the same struggle.
The fact that inflation has been out of control, the economy is in the toilet, mass illegal immigration is the worst it's been in several decades, the fact that it's harder than ever to buy a house or pay your bills, and hearing Kamala Harris admit that if she was president right now and not Joe Biden, you would be in the exact same position because she would have done nothing differently.
So whatever happens to them happens to us, and whatever happens to us happens to them. There is no separation.
You the reason we overlooked, underpaid, underbooked, undershamed. If you look, I'll speak, then I'm called out by name. I am flawed, I am vain, never yours, I remain. You the reason bitches start fucking with bitches when they change.
Again, you're forgettable. That's why I didn't want to do you guys' podcast. Forgettable. Hate the setup. The name is underwhelming. I didn't really see the value in it.
You the reason bitches start calling y'all bitches cause y'all useless. You the reason Harvey Weinstein had to see his conclusion. You the reason R. Kelly can recognize that he's abusive.
I mean, well, sir, she could tell. She was saying that we're wrong, I guess, about that.
Well,
so you tell us a little bit about yourself. Then.
No, I think you know more about me than I do myself. So you're saying no, obviously you do though, because you said that you warn guys about girls like me. So tell me about girls like me.
And I'm tired of these emotional ass, grateful ass bitches. Fake innocent, fake feminist. Stop pretending.
We have not been under the control of the Black man for over 500 years. So what do we have to get liberated from them from?
Y'all sentiment ain't realer than what you defending.
They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the Black man, the Black woman, and the Black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built.
It's a split decision. Bras like you and real victims.
They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between Black men and Black women because then everybody started going for self.
So you went through this process of understanding yourself, trying to figure it out. Don't you think your thoughts might be going through some of the same things?
Damn. I never thought about it like that.
150 years ago, the average woman had 7 kids, 85% of people were married.
I mean,
you know,
there was also much higher infant mortality, and women died very young, and you know.
I mean, women were more depressed than ever before. We're on antidepressants.
I mean, there are a lot of
women over the age of 45 are the least happy demographic.
There are a lot of very complex reasons for that.
Well,
I think it's important.
And the issue you have is
women in general just can't get along.
Explain. When a woman is just single, free, doing her own thing, doesn't care, is not looking for a husband, you know, she's on a completely different roadmap than a woman who is trying to align herself in a different way and align herself with a partner to be in a long-standing relationship. Now, the first thing that I noticed from Tia Mowry's show was her friends, okay, or lack thereof, I should say. Explain, nigga.
When Tosh got a man, you didn't pick up the phone.
Not only was this woman trying to get her to throw her wedding dress in the fire, she was also having conversations of, you know, oh, you need to find your dream man. Ooh, let's throw you out there and, you know, let's put you in these different positions so that you can find a new man. Like completely just throwing her to the streets.
They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man.
Explain, nigga.
When they found the job, you said you going home.
I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man.
And it's no shade to anybody else, but the way in which, in my opinion, that they threw her to the forefront and kind of allowed her to humiliate or embarrass herself, it says a lot about how they view her as a whole.
Why R&B bitches don't feature on each other's songs?
You see that thing about friends, you know?
There's good friends though.
You see that
There's some
friends
good friends.
word?
There's a few.
They tell me What's friends? What's friends?
Okay.
How do you know someone's your friend?
To be honest,
How do you know someone's your real friend?
it's like when you're there for me when I'm not even there for myself. That's how I know you're my friend. When you hold me accountable for my actions. Like if you know I love somebody and you've seen that I'm doing something wrong to them, you tell me, hey, that's not how you act.
You're right. Oh my, listen.
So you think we don't
I think
accountable? I think that we hold each other accountable. I think that you want us to do it.
I don't. I think because when a pro athlete from a single mother household makes it to the league, they're like, look at this single mom. She was great. This nigga is the king dingaling. But if that motherfucker's a crackhead, they like it's because of daddy wasn't there.
And you should know that.
It just happens sometimes that way. Yeah.
Pac told me something broke my heart. He said that when he was. He said that.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef. 17 years old, kicked out on the streets.
He said that in Dear Mama, at 17 or something like that. Yeah.
He said I was the only one in the house that looked different, and they used to make fun of me because I didn't look like them. I was like, phew.
Tupac didn't look like any of his siblings or step-siblings because he was the one who had a different daddy. He actually favored his brothers and sisters from his dad's side of the family.
That's what he told me. And he wasn't really nothing until he started making money. Then he was the golden boy.
My mother was a role model now. Afterwards, after I'm grown up, I go, yeah, you was right.
Right. Because she was a Black Panther.
Yeah, so she was real. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. But
this happens a lot with black sheeps, and you can be the black sheep of the family as a son or daughter, but this happens a lot with young black men. They get talked down on, told they're good for nothing.
When abused children become neglectful mothers for us today. And
Pac actually said this in one of his songs.
My mama was a Panther loud, single parent, but she proud when she witnessed baby boy rip a crowd. To school, but I dropped out and left the house because my mama say I'm good for nothing. So I'm out since I only got one life to live.
His mama told him that he was good for nothing as a teenager, kicked him out of the house, but a couple of years later, he was famous. That's when he was no longer the black sheep of the family, when he had money to provide for all of them. See how people flip?
Yes, absolutely. And as someone who was raised in a single mother household, I don't understand the narrative of asking about the absent father when I can't, again, if his presence isn't here, he does not have an influence on me.
I asked Billy when he'd lost touch with Tupac.
76, 77.
How old was he then?
He was about 6, 5. He was born in 71.
And then he went off, what, to California?
He went to Baltimore. He went to California. He moved around New York several times. And
If society is raising my child, that means the mother is failing because she should be raising her child, not society. So she has access. She controls the access to what her child has access to, at least in the home.
well, she was on crack. She was on drugs. She did drugs at the time.
When I was out there by myself, with nowhere to stay and no money.
Which city?
And
In California?
Bits of it was in Baltimore. Pieces of it was in Marin City. And then the rest came in Oakland.
And what was your
In
first
LA.
introduction? Drug dealers or?
Drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes. That's really it. Criminals.
My niggas ain't got no daddy. Grow up overcompensating. Learn shit about being a man in disguise, so that's being gangster.
But they weren't like young, glamorous guys. You know, they weren't like.
Well,
they
why
didn't
did you want to
seduce
hang
me like
out with
that.
them then?
They the only people that cared about me at that point. When I had nowhere to go.
But you
and
said
I
your
was
mother
hungry.
always cared about you.
She did, but she was lost at that particular moment. And she wasn't caring about herself at that moment.
You ever see your mama strung out while you studied division? Your uncle ever stole from you day after Christmas? Seen both of those in the county jail visits. The first and the 15th, the only religion. Noodles in the microwave, Shark Tank tidal wave. Grandma shooting niggas blood on the highway. Crosses on the dashboard, you just want a platform. I wanna take everything that I asked for. Catch me a body, I put that on anybody but my mama. She showing the pattern for certain. I think it's white panties and minimal condoms.
The other thing that was powerful was the fact that Tupac had witnessed, who he thought was his father, freebasing.
Well, the man that I knew was my father. The man that I knew died. The man that I knew was my father. He died with cocaine. So,
You know what I mean? And the drugs and the things like.
One time he was living in shelters, so Pac really had a bad life.
So this idea of blaming the father, he's not there. So
Thank you, Pam.
Yeah, he's being blamed because he left.
And to all the ladies having babies on their own, I know it's kind of rough and you're feeling all alone. Daddy's long gone and he left you by your lonesome.
I thought about that too, you know, not coming down on Afeni like that, but the fact that, you know, she may have had her problems too, you know, which was with drugs, and Tupac was honest about that enough in his music and so on and so forth. And then, you know, when you hear Dear Mama, he basically goes into in the song, he says,
Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair. No love for my daddy cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry, cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along
I was looking for a father, he was gone, you know, and when he talked about that, it's like, wow, you know, at that time she knew.
Tupac didn't know who his father was. He complained this made him feel unmanly. At first, Tupac's mum Afeni said she didn't know who his father was. Then she told him his father was dead. This is Tupac's biological father, Billy Garland. This is a picture of Billy and his wife, seen here with Tupac and his wife. I asked Billy when he'd lost touch with Tupac.
76, 77.
How old was he then?
He was about 6, 5. He was born in 71.
And then he went off, what, to California?
He went to Baltimore. He went to California. He moved around New York several times. And so
she had told him that and never told him the truth. And the only way that his father was able to really get in touch with him, most people would say to themselves, they say, well, you know, he could have got at Tupac. He could have did this. He could have did that. And the fact of the matter is that he was trying to get at Tupac, but people were giving him the runaround. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason that was between Tupac's father, Billy Garland, and Afeni, for whatever their situation was, which I'm not really privy to as to why she felt that way and didn't want him around and so on and so forth. So, but he told me that, you know, hey, they got together and, you know, Tupac told him that he loved him and, you know, they rekindled their relationship. But the biggest part was the fact that
him not being there is a lack of influence, and that's the problem. You don't see that issue?
brothers make babies and leave a young mother to be a cat.
I can agree that yes, not having a father is a detriment in a child's life.
How can I be a man if there's no role model?
Absolutely. But when we go from the point of raising the child, you blame the person that raised the child, not the person that was not there. Because
I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman.
And if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies.
We have sons who are, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black feminine female emotionalism. They become bitchy.
Grown men with daddy issues.
They're doubtful. They're indecisive. They can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge.
And to my partners that figured it out without a father, I salute you. May your blessings be neutral to your toddlers. It's crucial. They can't stop us if we see the mistakes. Till then,
you know, over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitment.
They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because
they haven't seen it.
I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father.
We have daughters who grew up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate.
My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures not substantially important in the family.
Because again, yes, that is one trauma that I don't have a father, but any trauma that I experience in my life is due to whoever my mother left me around, whoever my mother put in charge of me, whoever my mother allowed around me, not him. Now, in the absence of a father.
How would you describe what it was like growing up?
I was the total opposite of what I am right now. I was quiet, withdrawn. I read a lot. I wrote poetry. I kept a diary. I watched TV all the time. I stayed in front of a television.
Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television.
Now, in the absence of a father, yes, I'm very sure that there are things that he could have protected me from and other things like that, and that's why
they need fathers. They need protection.
Been forced to make all the decisions on her own if your father was there being a fucking man. The fuck?
Well, here's the flip side.
Since this is not a demonstration of a man, you need to tell me what man you're using to measure him with. Which one?
My idea.
Which is your idea. Now, is that the idea you trained him up to be?
No.
Oh. So how in the blazing bejesus are you holding him accountable to a standard that you didn't teach him, his father didn't give him, he don't even know what it is, and yet as his mother, you sit in his face and tell him you don't respect him as a man? Tell me how that works.
Just the same question I posed to my mother.
Why didn't you grow up with a father?
It's not just me, it's a lot of people, but
Why would you allow a boy to get you pregnant?
you know, they was just hitting what they was hitting, and my mother got pregnant and wasn't really getting with the guy that
She was
got her
married to
pregnant.
someone else at the
No,
time,
no, she
right?
wasn't married.
No?
My mother was out just living her life.
Whatever, nigga, I'm off you now.
Your evil ass kept me well in doubt.
Pussy nigga, best watch your mouth.
Pussy and mouth is all you got.
Lay this pussy back on the couch.
Doggy style, then you get on top.
And she got pregnant and had me. I didn't have
no mother and father.
Because again, this is a mentality to abandon your children.
Niggas all alone. Old time is my role model, the war zone. Been laced with this game till it's a part of me. My heart don't beat no fear, and it ain't hard to see.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. No support from my mother. Sometimes I wish I would have came from a different pussy, C-section. Even in birth, she didn't push me.
You would not be here had she not. So for you to be like, you shouldn't have had sex with a boy, now you wouldn't exist.
I mean, agree. I mean, it's a
I
conversation.
I just feel like that's a little much to ask your mom that when she gave you life. Like,
They ain't love what you call that. If you ain't want a son, mama, shit. Should have left me in that ball sack. Two sides to the story.
Everybody assumes that every single mother does her job, does 110%, and does what she's supposed to do.
But I ain't having it.
Q literally works with children that are abused.
They comprise a statistically significant portion of juvenile offenders, teenage mothers, domestic violence victims, alcohol and drug addicts, and incarcerated adults. Another place that they appear in large numbers is the child welfare system, as mothers of abused and neglected children. My research examines how the trajectory of these women's lives affects their treatment in the legal system as mothers. I'm exploring various theories that could be applied to improve the outcomes for these mothers and their children. Ultimately, it is my hope that this research will lead to a reduction in the cycle of child sexual abuse and neglect.
In homes with single mothers.
You know, over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but
it's crucial. They can't stop us if we see the mistakes. Till then,
we have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on.
You know, to reach higher and higher and.
Yeah, I'll fuck up a good thing if you let me. Let me alone, Becky. A man who don't take care of his family can't be rich. I watched Godfather, I missed that.
The number one challenge is the existential crisis of the black family. The existential crisis of the black family. Marriage in our culture is down to 34%. When we were growing up, it was 85%, is now down to 34%. 71% of our sisters are not married, 29% will never get married, 63% of our brothers are not married, 30% of them will never get married. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has risen to maximize their full human potential without family at the center of their culture. This only exists. This is an interesting but negative statistic. This phenomenon of the existential crisis of our family only exists among African American black people. It does not exist on the continent or anywhere else in the diaspora. So there must be something in the water. We must fix this.
Look, I'm not telling you don't try to save the world, but can you do that without saving your family first?
You know, from my sister to my little cousins and to other siblings around me that's coming up. How can I be a voice for all these people around the world and can't reach them like I want to?
The cat is out the bag, I am not your savior. I find it just as difficult to love thy neighbors, especially when people got ambiguous favors, but their heart's not in it, see everything's for the paper.
And they're the closest to me. That's a trip. That's truly a trip to me. And everybody go through trials and tribulations and make mistakes, but for me personally,
I realize true love not saving face, but unconditional. Where will you let me go? I trust you find independence. If not, then all is forgiven. Sorry I didn't save the world, my friend. I was too busy building mine again.
I mean, you can't have a strong community without having strong families in it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? So when I think back to that, I'm not thugging for me, I'm thugging for my family.
So I set free myself from all the guilt that I thought I made. So I set free my mother, all the hurt that she titled shame. So I set free my cousin Chaotic for my mother's pain. I hope Hakeem made you proud, cause you ain't die in vain. So I set free the power of Whitney, may she heal us all. So I set free our children, make good karma, keep them with God. So I set free the hearts filled with hatred, keep our bodies sacred. As I set free all your abusers, this is transformation.
Good genius. That's my sensei. I'll never be better than him.
Yeah, and I was like,
at
okay.
any point in my career, in my life, I'll never be better than him. Never. I'll never be a better father. I'll never be a better man.
Nah, you can't say that.
No, listen to me. You have to understand who the sensei is, and you have to respect it. I'll never be better than him.
So
and I accept that. But I'm better than everybody else.
As a father, you saying too though? You grouping that into fatherhood?
Yeah.
He was a father long before him.
Yeah.
So you could have possibly been his sensei with that.
But you know, I'm saying, what he did for me made me the father I am. The pop out did something for niggas who don't got dads.
I get that, yeah.
He made me who I am. Yeah. Like, I will never be better than him.
So he built that character, basically.
He built my
He
character.
built that
He
character.
He exposed it. I ain't gonna say he built it, he exposed it. He exposed what you already had in you.
That's why.
Helped you.
I mean, you can say that, but I'm just saying, I'll never be better than that dude. You know what I mean? Like, people can, I don't know, this narrative motherfuckers be running with now, like, oh, I'm the greatest, I'm the woo-wop. But I have senseis. You get what I'm saying? And there's certain people that I just won't be better than, and I won't even try to be better than. All I can do is just be the better version of myself. And somebody like Kendrick Lamar.
You did it. I'm proud of you. You broke a generational curse. Say thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, brother. Mr. Monroe.
Before I go.
You should really understand that you can either have knowledge yourself or you can have chaos. Look, check it. For the products and everything, links in the description. I monetize thanks to y'all. I really appreciate the community that we building.
I said big shit.
My boy got some real good things going on for the youth, for the community here, and I'm gonna let him rap about it.
Hey, look, check it out. You come from an underserved community like myself, grew up in the hood, this opportunity right here is for you. I'm the CEO of Dreams Training Facility. Our motto, it all starts with a dream. We gotta meet our underserved youth, our young dreamers, with the access and the resources to help them achieve what it is that they dreaming about. So we starting right here in the
IE, San Bernardino, all that.
With programs and services that go nationwide. DREAM stands for determination, resiliency, education, attitude, and mental health. And if you can master those 5 things, you'll have success. Dreams Training Facility. It all starts with a dream.
You know,
So if you want to learn more, the links to everything he's speaking about, it'll be in the description. We need donors, we need people to volunteer, etc. We really trying to make a change. Y'all know, coming from the places we come from,
my neck of the woods has held me down since a young pup, you know.
It's so easy to get wrapped up into something, be looking for love in the wrong places. You have nobody teaching you about knowledge of self, self-awareness, what love is, none of these types of things. So, you know, hey, hit the links in the description. Also, check out your boy book, man, because I guarantee you it'll really help you with your relationship with self, your families, etc. And we thinking about a podcast. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments if we should do that. We think it's about time that we actually start speaking about solutions that work and not just carrying on the problem. You know what I mean? For our own well-being and our own pockets. But anyway, yeah, it's knowledge of self with chaos, and we out.